Hello, I am Adolf Hitler's son, born in Argentina after he fled Germany, and today we are going to be reflecting on my deadbeat father's biggest failure in the form of a video game. Welcome to the series where I have to outrun How Long to Beat. This is actually the second video I have recorded in this series. However, I have no intention of spending the last of my year searching through footage of Sonic Unleashed, so I decided to bump this one up to the first video. This series was inspired by a combination of different thoughts. The first was back in 2018 when I found an old copy of Modern Warfare 2 and thought, why not try and beat it in one sitting? So I loaded up on iced coffees and proceeded to spend 7 hours playing Modern Warfare 2. This became the only way I played Call of Duty campaigns from then on. I also watched two particular streams. One was a Jump King stream by Connor of Trash Taste, and the other was Jerma's Simpsons Hit and Run stream. I like the concept of inducing insanity onto yourself by playing for long hours while having to continue to provide commentary, with the idea of beating a non-existent clock in the form of however long their particular sitting was, wanting to beat that before they ended the stream. I thought, why not create a series where I just subject myself to this, but also put myself on an actual timer to create further stress and better content. I had the idea of getting the standard playtime on How Long to Beat and setting that as a goal I would have to reach. I decided to play Call of Duty and am prepared to play all of them like this as a sentimental throwback to what would eventually become this idea. I returned home on November 19th, 2022 after driving for an hour for weekend work I volunteered for, so I had an excuse to cover an event so I could see if they had a salami stall I really liked there. They did not have the salami store. After a long drive home, I booted up Call of Duty, which I had downloaded previously and recorded, which you will now see after this introduction. Now, the original Call of Duty that I will be playing is on How Long to Beat at 7 hours, which I'll attempt to do in one sitting. The rules are really only I can't cheat. I must play standard difficulty, can't go below it, I can go higher, but I'm not going to fucking do that. And I cannot use a guide to help me. If I complete the challenge with at least an hour on the clock, then it will translate into a video of the newest Call of Duty. However, if I fail, I have to fight in World War II. So crack open your favourite can of Monster branded energy drink and enjoy. Hello, so basically we started with a pretty standard run-of-the-mill training mission. This is a normal mission that usually starts off like Call of Duty games. This one was a little more interesting than the other ones I found. Like, a little bit more than so, because you get this little bit here, which I thought was pretty cool. Usually they're sort of boring, I find them to be. So, yeah, it was quite refreshing playing a decent one of these, one that seems like effort was actually put in. We finished that mission in decent time, so we weren't doing too bad there. So we got to the next mission, and this mission was a little more, it was actually sort of easy too. I sort of remembered playing this when I was like 8, so I didn't have that much trouble with it really. I pretty much knew where to go. Not that if I hadn't played it, I wouldn't have known how to do it. It's pretty straightforward, really. It's quite hard to get lost in this game, considering there is a big gold star on your map. We found this guy hanging, so I looted his shit because he is weak. Didn't even make it to the fucking battlefield and already dead. Fucking bitch. I considered taking his gun as well, but he can have it. I don't need a loser's weapon. This part is not really that important. I just found it funny because these two guys get blown up in sync and their animations are perfectly just in sync. It was very funny to me. This level was pretty easy, so I was making pretty good time already. 15 minutes in and I'm already on the third mission, so I would say that I was doing quite well. So I just moved on to the next one, did not waste any time. As you can see, I immediately clicked that next level thing. This next mission was also easy. There's not much to it really. You just it's an introduction to a lot more of like raining fire sort of thing. In the first mission, there are a couple guys shooting at you, but it wasn't really as intense as this is. So this is sort of that introduction to what more of the game is sort of like. I had my first death here. It was, my first death in this game, which was quite far. I mean, almost 20 minutes in, and I only died once. I haven't even died, actually. So that, I'd say it's pretty good. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. But I went over to this section where I saw lots of gunfire, because I thought, oh, that's probably where to go. Wasn't. I got immediately gunned down, so I did what any smart person would do and immediately went back and immediately got gunned down again, so I opted to take a different route, which bared better results for me this time around. So I finished the mission. It was a little, like a tiny bit harder, but it was still not enough to set me back that much. I was still making relatively decent progress. So I just listened to this bozo say his whatever dumb fuck speech, and I went on to the next mission. So this mission, I did immediately get run over by a tank, which was fun. The mission was still fine. Sometimes this game does just... Wait. I don't think this is the right bit. I'm checking my notes. I don't quite understand what I'm meant to say here. I don't have anything written in my notes for this bit. I honestly don't know what I'm meant to be doing here. I'm meant to be saying that. Did I leave this in by accident? I think I left this in by accident. Well, I could just like click and delete it, but you know, I could also just be lazy and leave it in. It's also an option. I guess I'll decide soon enough. I don't really know why I would have kept this in if it wasn't a mistake. It was pretty stupid of me to do so. Yeah, did you guys see that new Star Wars show? I hear it's pretty good. I haven't watched it because I don't have Disney Plus. I had Disney Plus for The Mandalorian, which was alright, but I thought it was enough to keep me going, so I watched the Clone Wars. But I was pretty busy at the time, so I didn't really get through all of the Clone Wars. But when I thought, well, I'm not watching the Clone Wars, I immediately dropped Disney Plus because other than The Simpsons and the Clone Wars, there's nothing on that thing that really interests me. I own all the Star Wars movies. Well, the Star Wars movies that matters I own, like the prequels and the sequels. No, not the sequels. I mean the prequels and the original trilogy. I don't own any of the sequels. Why would I own any of them? Why would I do that? I think there's like one I liked. But I'm not going to say that. It's too controversial to give out a Star Wars opinion. Anyway, here we are to the actual part where it starts again. And this game just sort of kills you whenever it likes. As you'll see here, it just sort of kills you. That's why they changed to the hide and cover system. This was the first time I really struggled in this game. 30 minutes in, and I've found my first struggle, so I'd say that's pretty good, but I did die a couple times to this. I didn't really know how to get past the tank to the Panzer. It was a conundrum. It was a real conundrum for me. So I tried different tactics. I tried sort of trying to go behind it to see if that would work, and didn't really work, so eventually I just tried to outrun it. I tried to get there before the tank did, and it sort of worked for me, sort of. I was going really the same way, just a lot faster, and I think this is a completely different route on its own. But yeah, I got there before the tank could really catch up, so I got to the Panzer and could blow up the tank, so I wasn't stuck on it for that long really, but I'd be stuck on stuff longer later on. So, I finished the level, so I got a little bit slowed down, but that's something that would happen quite a lot as this sort of goes on. So I hopped into the US Army clown car that they apparently have, because they're gonna drive through enemy lines, because that's something that is totally a good idea in any sort of war setting other than this one fucking game apparently, but supposed to tell realistic stories of war, and they're just driving through a battlefield in a fucking car. Like, give me a break. But yeah, the mission was alright, I guess. Not as bad as what was to come. So this mission was really easy. Like, it's sort of a dumb mission. It was a weird mission. Like, why do they even do this? This seems like the sort of thing that you ever see those like really slapstick serious movies that, like, they're not really serious movies, but they always have this one silly bit. This is that one silly bit from the semi-serious Hollywood movie that fucking sucks. So we have another certified Call of Duty 1 moment coming up. There we go. Classic.
Downhill, triple caution, stay center, triple caution, stay center. Whoa. Concentrate, Sammy, please. Medium left, long, turn in, medium left, left, nice and easy, turn, throttle, fast, medium, left, long, in, medium right, concentrate, medium left, medium.
So we finished this mission. It was easier than the last, which was good for time, but I was still sort of losing time at this point. This next mission was also sort of fine. It wasn't really that hard. It was pretty easy. Not a lot to say about this mission. There's a lot of missions in this game that just feel like filler missions for the cooler missions. The level was really forgettable. It was easy, and it was also pretty long, so I wasn't a huge fan of this mission. Let's move on. This mission is like the rest of the American campaign, stupid and easy. Kind of like how Americans are, and I don't even remember what we're doing in this mission. That's how forgettable this shit is. I think we break into some Nazi place, whatever. I like how every character in this game just walks like they've shit themselves. It's a nice touch. So I finished the mission. I was doing really well. I was on the last mission of the American campaign and only an hour 20 minutes in. So I thought I was doing pretty good, but this arrogance may cost me later on. Who knows? There's only one way to find out. You have to just keep watching, watch the whole video. Fucking. This would be something that would not really stop as the game goes on. It just keeps jumping in difficulty at random points. There's not much rhyme or reason to it, but this is sort of where that starts. You really be your own, don't it? Here I am, lost again. I've cut the music. It's not funny anymore. But, yeah. I got sent back pretty far after dying here, which was pretty fucked up to send me back that far. Because now I've lost quite a bit of time, so I wasn't really happy about that. But I finished the mission and continued on to where I would now start the British campaign of the game. This one was, the American campaign was pretty easy, an hour and a half, and I've already done with it. But would I do that as fast on the British campaign? Well, at the start, yeah, a little bit. It was a little bit harder. You can definitely feel a bit of a difficulty spike, but not really anything that I couldn't handle. The last mission in the American campaign so far was a little harder than what was here at the start. But there was a bit of a consistent spike. Here I am getting lost again. You know what, the mission sort of just finished here, so it was a bit weird for me, because usually they do a big speech or something. This just kind of ended, but it wasn't that bad of a mission. This is another huge difficulty spike, another one that the game likes to sort of throw out at ya. I feel like this was the first really rough part of the game. Guess how I die next. Okay, everybody, place your bets. Take your picks. Haha. If you've guessed, Bunker randomly shot by a tank at my exact location before it had even seen me. You win. So I had trouble with this section. I didn't really know how to aim the Panzer correctly. And I think I figured it out by the end, like how you're meant to do it, but it's sort of counterintuitive. And it doesn't always work. It's pretty inconsistent. sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Like, that should have definitely hit, but it just didn't. I really don't like these tank missions. You have to do them so many times, and they're just never fun. So I don't know why this game keeps getting you to do this, and it also gives you a pretty rough checkpoint. The checkpoints are also inconsistent. I'd been to this part like at least 5 times, and now it's just randomly giving me a checkpoint. But I got there in the end, I finished it, but I lost a lot of time there, probably the most that I had lost so far. This mission was not really easy, but I didn't really lose any time because when I died it was in places I had pretty good checkpoints, so not much else to really say about it. This is a weird mission. I don't know why they did this once, let alone fucking twice, but yeah, they made you do it again, so guess I'll ride the fucking war car again. Jesus Christ. You do get to blow up a bridge of Nazis though, so that was pretty worth it, I would say. Alright everybody, it's time to play Guess How I Die Next. Alright, you got your bets in, you got your bets. Come on, let's get a big pot going. Throw everything in. Come on, what's the worst that could happen? If you guess the friendly fire trigger just going off for no fucking reason, then I don't know how you fucking guessed that, because I still don't understand how I died there. It was at that moment I knew that I had fucked up. But I still got through this mission pretty decently, so I made up a little bit of time that I had lost, so I was happy. For some reason this mission just has a fucking part 2, I don't know why. And the part 2 is even worse than the first part, like very, very much worse. This whole section is jank as fuck. Just like, look at that. It's so jank. You have to fight guys kind of shooting at you from all directions while you're fighting the planes, so that's fun. There's no real room for error because of how little health you really get in this game and how these planes just one-shot you. Your guys kind of do nothing. It's not really a fair moment in the game. There's a lot of unfair moments in this game. This is one of them because it's so dumb. Really did not like this bit. There's not really anything to stop you from just being attacked by like multiple sides, but I got there anyway. I didn't really lose that much time in the end. So we moved on to the next mission, which was a real setback in the grander scheme of things, because this mission was just fucked. This mission was fucked. You'll see as we get to it just why it was fucked, but for now, just fucking guess. I don't know, like, if you haven't played this game, then you're not gonna know, but if you have, you know this bit, you know how bad this is. I was really hoping this would be a stealth mission, because some Call of Duty games have these stealth missions. Well, usually it's a stealth mission, but it changes into a not stealth mission halfway through. This was unfortunately one of those levels, and I was really excited to get a stealth mission, because I think stealth missions are fun and I would like them, but fuck, it just can't give me anything nice, this game, can it? It just can't, so no stealth. So this level is very confusing. This is a very, very, very confusing level. It's, a lot of it looks the same. By the way, Plato never said that. I just want to point out that Plato never said that. In none of his writings does he ever say that. I think it was also in Black Hawk Down that they said he said that as well, but he never said that. So let's get back to the mission. So yeah, there's a lot of people shooting at you, there's a lot of just bullshit going on, there's a lot of confusing areas. You can see me sort of flying through it, But you get the general idea that there's people everywhere. It's a very confusing level. The map isn't particularly helpful here. There's just a lot going on with it. But I think you can see. So how am I going to fill in the rest of this time with talking? I've been playing SMT4. It's pretty good. It's a cool twist. I won't spoil it, but it's interesting. I like the characters in it. I think the characters are all cool. It's pretty easy compared to the other SMT games I've played. It's sort of confusing, but that might be because I play it on Friday nights when I'm usually exhausted, and I'm on a Discord call with friends at that point. So, by the way, Stalin never said that either. I think there was a book about Stalin that said it, but it wasn't actually Stalin who said it. It was a guy who was with Stalin at the time who said it. No, it wasn't even the guy who was with... I think it was just the guy writing about Stalin. I don't even know if the guy writing about Stalin was actually even met Stalin. So it was just a book about Stalin that just somehow got quoted by Stalin. It's quite amazing, really, but... yeah, I like SMT3. I think it's one of my favorite games, honestly. I like it a lot. But I haven't really gotten too much into either Persona or SMT yet. Like, I haven't played a whole lot of them. I played a little bit of 5, but I find with 5 I usually play it for like long periods of time, and then I just don't play it for a while. Maybe I need to sit down one day and just like fucking fly through the whole thing or something, but I don't know. It's fairly long. It's really long. It's really long, so you know. Do you really blame me for that? Anyway, I finally got to the end of the mission. And, yeah, there we go. It's the hardest and longest section so far. And now I am just under halfway through this, which is fine. So I have about another half of, well, blah, 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 blah. I can't fucking speak. So I was doing pretty good, but this would shape up to be the hardest campaign of them all. The difficulty spike here is just fucking insane. I also want to touch on the difference between the campaigns, because I think this is pretty disgusting on Call of Duty's part. Just the difference between how the American and British and Russian narratives are treated is just it's gross. It's just straight up propaganda. Just look at this, like the difference between how each country is introduced. Russia is they're clearly saying something there, and I just didn't enjoy it, because this is meant to be a game about fighting the Nazis and how bad the Nazis were, and they still have to villainize the Soviet Union, which doesn't exist anymore, and did not exist during this game either, so why did they need to make a point out of it? Anyway, this level is stupid because you don't get a gun, you don't get just ammo. It's sort of a thing you just have to deal with here. There's no real way to defend yourself against the machine guns. I mean, if you go the way the game wants you, it's not really that hard, but I only remembered the way the game wants you to go because for some reason I just have memories of doing this when I was like 8. But, you know, I eventually found the sniper. You need to find a sniper and he just tells you where to go, because apparently Russians just don't have battalions or platoons or like leaders. Fucking I hate them so much. hate the devs. Anyway, this mission was like, alright. I mean, it was a pain in the ass, but I don't think I lost that much time from it. Not at least as much as I would lose now. This mission was a cunt, really. That's a word to describe what this mission was. It was a cunt. It was a cunt of a mission. It was bad. It was real bad. And pretty much this entire campaign, I was not too bad. The first two were fine. I hated this one. I hated a lot about this one. A lot. Finally got a weapon though, so at least there's that. I was gonna do a big rant here about how, like, it's hard to find out where to go and how am I supposed to figure out where I'm meant to go. But I'm now realizing that there is actually a star at the bottom of the map that tells you exactly where you need to go. And the issue was not actually that the game was unclear with where to go, it was that I am stupid and I do not look at my fucking minimap. So, this is just left in to illustrate that I'm dumb. I'm stupid. That's it. I had a 24 pack of Dr. Pepper, which I finished over the course of a month? Maybe just under a month. And they were honestly like, it's almost Christmas holidays. I've got like 1 week of work left, 1.5 weeks. And that was what was keeping me going. And now they're just gone. They're just not here anymore. It's honestly quite devastating, really. But I did buy a pack of creaming soda because I'm like, look, it's 1.5 weeks left. I'm allowed to treat myself. And if I buy like a 10 pack, then I can have one creaming soda every day. And that would serve every day from now up until I get to go home. So I'm like, sweet, I'll do that. So that's exactly what I did. It's a nice treat for myself. Sometimes you just gotta do that. I got a PPSH, by the way, which is objectively the best gun. I did get stuck here though. Like, genuinely could not move out of that spot. Which was not great for time. I was already doing sort of shit when it came to time now. This was even worse for me. So, I didn't know really what to do. I tried pausing, seeing if I could go back to the last checkpoint, but I only got a restart level option, and I was not going to restart the whole level. That just would have been terrible for time already, so I was wondering, what the fuck do I do? Am I fucked? Seriously, what do I do? So I just ended up throwing grenades, and hoping that grenade would kill me. Unfortunately, it fucking didn't for some reason. But yeah, me and Tarkovsky are going now to save cinema forever. From the MCU. I lost a lot of time here. I was gonna need to start getting a move on if I was gonna meet my 7-hour deadline. So I needed something to rush me. And luckily, I did get a few sort of easier missions, but they weren't exactly short missions either, so the mission was fine. It wasn't that hard. It was honestly refreshing from the previous one that was fucking long. This mission was also not very hard. It was quite linear, so, you know, it wasn't too much to it. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. So I was at this point of the game that I had a stroke, which wasn't good. I fell off my chair. I was dying. I was foaming at the mouth. I was fucked. Obviously, there was no coming back from that. So the prisoner that I keep in my room had to drag his shackles over to the chair and take over for me, which you can see in a few seconds is exactly what happens. So. The prisoner man, with his shackles, continued playing with his shackles still on, so I thought that was quite impressive. Shout out to him. This mission was fine. It was just fine. I liked it. I honestly thought it was the best mission of the Russian campaign. This mission was one of the worst Call of Duty missions I think I've ever played in my life. This mission is just bad. Like, there's no defending it. There's no way I can sort of think, well, maybe it's good in that way. This mission is just like hard equals good. The mission. It's really like unnecessarily difficult. There's inconsistent checkpoints with it. I was getting checkpoints in places I hadn't previously gotten checkpoints when I had done this like several times. There's guys that just lock onto you all the time. There's machine guns and everything. They just sort of like shoot at you every time, no matter if you change locations or anything. And there's, when you get into the house, and as you see it later on, there's a lot of guys that just sort of pour into the house. And there's also tanks that fire at you that can one-shot you if the timing is right as well, in case all of that before wasn't bad enough. Just, this mission was terrible. I really hated this mission. Now I've finished all my lines of dialogue. Now it's time to fill in the remaining time with fucking improvisation. Let me look around my room and like pick a conversation topic. I don't fucking know. I started God of War, like not the reboot, but sort of the original one, like the first ever God of War, the hack and slash ones. And I'm a fan of hack and slash. Like, I think I'm a hack and slash defender. I like hack and slashes. I think my favorite game is a hack and slash, really. And I think, you know, a lot of my favorite games are actually hack and slashes now that I think about it. But really, I think the genre is fun. It's a fun game, stylish. I think God of War, though, sort of upper mid range of the hack and slashes I played. It's not the best thing ever, but I wouldn't say it's mediocre. It's good. That's really it. It's a lot more puzzle based than I thought. I saw somebody complain the other day in a Twitter thread about the Game Awards, about God of War winning a lot of awards, that they said that they missed when God of War was a boss rush, and it's now become cinematic doo-doo, and that why not just watch a God of War movie at this point? But I was thinking, like, where is the boss rush? Like, there's been like 3 bosses in that game, and I think I'm sort of near the end. Like, I'm about to get Pandora's box. I think I'm very close to getting Pandora's box, and I've seen like 3 bosses in that game. It was a very weird comment. Maybe the second and the third are more like a boss rush, but even then, like, wouldn't the existence of the first game just sort of disprove that God of War has not always been about that? Whatever. Eventually, to finish this mission, I figured I would just have to sort of sit in a corner and fire at the oncoming men, but the tanks kept shooting me through the window, because remember, there's tanks that can one-shot you at any time at this fucking place, because this game sucks. So that sort of didn't work out for me as well as I would hoped it would. And look, I'm just getting one shot all the time. You can't really help when you get one-shotted. Like, you can be on that sniper thing for like 7 minutes and not get shot at all. You can be on that thing for like 2 seconds and the tank will just fucking one-shot you. Eventually, I figured out the tank was going to keep shooting me as long as I was there, so I went out into this hallway here, sort of went somewhere where I knew they couldn't come behind me, and I just sort of lied there, and this was eventually the strat that got me the win here. This mission, it took me so long, this mission. This was such a bad part. I hate this part so much. A lot of this game is memorable to me, but none of the good parts of this game are memorable, because there's not a whole lot of memorable good parts in this game. It's just the terrible parts of this game that are memorable to me. But then again, it's still one of the better Call of Duties that I played. I'd say it's like maybe like 4th or 5th best Call of Duty. This mission was sort of fine. There's one part, no, I don't even think it was this mission, really, but no, this mission is just not that memorable. I'm now remembering it, there's just nothing to this mission, really. It's a very boring filler mission. I'm still not entirely sure, like, what killed me here. I'm still not sure what killed me. I don't think Stalin said that either. This mission was a bit forgettable. There wasn't that much. It was not a great mission, really. Yeah. We're getting to the end of the Russian campaign now, which is good. And we still have some time to get through the rest of this. This mission was... it had one annoying moment, but it was mainly a filler mission. You know, there wasn't a whole lot. This is the annoying moment right here, so... as you can see, I'm sniping everybody in this warehouse, but no matter how many people I snipe, it's just never ends. There's just apparently infinite people in this. Pardon me! Warehouse. And they just keep firing at you. And you have no cover, they have plenty. There's also that. So, I tried firing panzers in, which didn't really work because for some reason they're not particularly great at killing people. Eventually I just opted to throw grenades. Just threw grenades all around the fucking thing. And you know what? It actually worked. That actually did more than any other strat that I had for some reason. I don't get this game, man. Other than the one hard part, though, there was nothing to this mission. Nothing too difficult, nothing too easy. It was a whole lot of nothing, as a lot of these missions in this game are. This mission was really jank, but it was easy, so it made up well for time. The jank wasn't terrible jank. It was I could deal with the jank, but, you know, I don't know why a tank mission was even included in this game, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, it would make up great for time in this mission, because I got through it really quickly, and I got through it without really dying at any stage, so here we go. Don't know why I kept it that long. So yeah, I finished the mission and it was easy. Good on me. So at this point, the timer on the corner started fucking up in Premiere. It's meant to be tied to the clip, however, at some point it just kept going back to 5:15. As you can see, it just randomly jumped to 10 hours. I don't know why. I didn't pause the game at any point. I did this all in one sitting. So I have no idea why the timer ended up fucking up that way. So I'll just tell you like what it was there, and then it goes back to that. So anyway, this mission was easy, had a weird ending. it was really fucking easy. Like, it's very especially compared to like what came before it. This mission was a little bit harder, but it was fine other than 2 moments. It was a long mission, there was a lot that happened in this mission, but it didn't take too long other than 2 sections of the game. This part was ridiculous. This machine gun just instantly locks onto you every single time you come across it, and it just continues firing over and over. You also respawn right in front of an explosive, so you can die if you're not paying 100% attention to it. It's terrible. I hated this bit. But as you can see here, this is part where I actually got the guy who was behind all that. I killed the machine gunner after he continued to fire at me, and then somebody else got on the machine gun and just continued firing at me. That's just the sort of shit that happens in this game. It's very bad. But I eventually did get through it, and I was still doing sort of okay when it came to time. Still, the timer is somehow fucking up. It just keeps going back to, every time I make a cut, it goes back to 5 hours, 15 minutes. I don't know why. Anyway, this part was really stupid because you had to go through that bunker, and the star tells you to go through that bunker there, and it tells you you gotta go to a place there, but when you go into it, there's guys that come up behind you and they shoot you, and it's very confusing, like, as to what you're meant to do when you have guys coming up behind you endlessly and you have guys shooting at you because there's a lot of people in this bunker. It's a bunker, of course there's people in it. But what I found out is you're actually meant to go the other way. You're actually meant to go to the other side of the bunker and clear that part of the bunker out, because all the guys coming up behind you here are actually from that other bunker. The game at no point ever tells you to do that, and at no point has the game ever had anything like this beforehand. It's honestly just very, very idiotic game design. I have no idea why that even exists, to be honest. I finished the mission in the end, so it wasn't hard, but it ate up a little bit of time. I think at this point we were going on at about 6 hours. So I had 1 hour to do the last mission, so things were looking pretty good for me. But this last mission would slow me down quite a lot, so it's very possible that I could still fail this challenge even with all the time I was doing before.
Oh baby, a triple! Oh yeah!
So this part was probably the last really fucked part of the game. The game just couldn't leave without giving you one more bullshit section of the game. And this was it. So in case the guys firing from all different directions and everybody's locking onto you specifically wasn't bad enough, you also had to put an explosive on the tank. That's what you had to do, and it was so bad that I was on a Discord call while I was playing this. Originally I was meant to get the voices, but my mic fucked up in the recording, and it just made it sound like all the people in the voice chat were talking to themselves, so I opted to voice over it. But all of them had left at that point, and then when they came back I explained that I had to put an explosive on the tank, and none of them believed me until I went and did it. Because that's how stupid it sounded, that they thought I was just making it up as a joke, or like I was getting something wrong, because they were in disbelief that we even had to do this. And I don't blame them, because it's a fucking stupid idea. But, you know, I did it eventually, and it's fucking ridiculous and dumb, but I got there eventually somehow, and then we ended fascism forever. I was just under 6 hours.
Hello lads, it's fucking real footage at the end of the Call of Duty. Let's go. Oh, hello, it's fucking the credits from fucking Pathologic. Oh, lads. It's Hitler Reloaded. Call of Duty 2, Hitler is back. The Return of Hitler. We have this new song. It's a neoliberal anthem. It's called I Don't Fancy the Nazis. I don't understand what this credit sequence is supposed to be. This looks like shit. Those who have long enjoyed such privileges and so on and so forth as we enjoy, forgetting time that men have died to win them. Franklin D. Roosevelt, this is pure ideology.
There you have it. I don't know when this COD video will come out, but I'm sure I'll do it someday. For now, stay tuned for my next video on the fall of the Roman Empire, and its direct link to the introduction of Bridget to Guilty Gear.